If you've been following the podcast for a while, you'll know that a little while back, I announced I was talking to investors about my startup AI Box. We ended up getting such a huge influx of people talking to us that we kind of changed our strategy regarding fundraising, and we have a really exciting announcement coming soon. But if you were an investor that had previously reached out to me and jumped on a call, make sure to reach out again. I have some really exciting news to give to you, or if you're an investor today looking to invest in an absolutely groundbreaking AI startup, I'm going to leave my email, jaden@aibox.ai, in the description, and I'll give you the inside scoop. Today on the podcast, we are covering a very interesting startup in the developer space, and it has just closed a $10 million seed round. Now, $10 million, I know like sometimes we talk about these huge numbers, like recently we had, I think Helsing raised over $200 million. But this is interesting because this is a seed round. This isn't a, Series A, B, C, something else. Like seed round, $10 million, you're dealing with a fairly legitimate company. So today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about what LastMile does, because LastMile AI is the company that has closed this $10 million seed round. And essentially they're doing this to quote unquote operationalize AI models. So we're going to be talking about what that is, what that means, diving into all the specifics of it. So without further ado, let's dive into the podcast. Welcome to the AI Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app, or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. LastMile AI is an emerging platform targeting software engineers with a focus on simplifying the integration of generative AI models into applications. So recently, they've now secured, like I mentioned, $10 million in seed funding, and the investment round was actually led by Gradient, which is a venture fund concentrating on AI technology and is backed by Google. So they have some other notable participants in the funding round, including AME Cloud Ventures, Versilo, Guleros, Raunch, 10x Founders, and Exceptional Capital. So according to Samard Quadri, who's a co-founder and CEO of LastMile AI, this kind of fresh infusion of capital is primarily going to be used to increase product development, broaden the startup's workforce, right? Hire a bunch of new people, some new talent. And currently they're a very tight-knit team of only 7 people at the company right now. So Quadri articulates the startup's mission as a democratizing force in the world of generative AI. He states, quote, "Machine learning and the broader field of AI has gone through a few AI winters, often due to a constraint on computational resources, a constraint on expertise, or a constraint on high-quality training sets. We plan to democratize generative AI by streamlining the tooling and disparate workflows and simplifying the need for deep technological expertise." So I think this is actually a really interesting take from him, kind of bringing up why we have quote-unquote AI winters. And a big part of that, like he says, is because of, like computational resources. We just don't have enough computational resources. Of course, NVIDIA right now has come up with some absolutely incredible, breakthroughs there. We're seeing some amazing chips. And I know a lot of people will be like, these aren't breakthroughs. These are just like incremental improvements from prior things. If you look at like the current chips NVIDIA has today versus what we had 5 years ago, the improvements, it's actually crazy. And for anyone else that doubts me on this, like ask yourself, why is NVIDIA a $1 trillion company right now? And all the other, chip makers, I'm sure they're benefiting greatly, but why is no one else like in seeing the same like absolutely insane run up? It's because NVIDIA is killing it. Like their chips are killing it, and we've seen a lot of really big improvements very recently out of them. So there'll be other players. I know Google, Microsoft, maybe even Apple are working on like chips to kind of compete with NVIDIA. But right now, NVIDIA is killing it, and those other companies working on those chips, like typically those are going to take them 2-3 years sometimes to get the plants and the everything like ready, and at that point like NVIDIA is going to be way ahead. So I'm not sure, it's going to be a battle, but like Google and Meta are both gearing up for that and are both developing in-house chips, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. In any case, back to LastMile. Before launching LastMile, Quadri and his co-founder Andrew Ho and also Swang Sonwalker were part of the product engineering team at Meta. where they focused on building a range of tools for machine learning engineers and data scientists. So according to Quadri, his experience served as kind of the fundamental and foundational inspiration for LastMile AI, which really kind of aims to adapt and simplify existing machine learning tooling for a broader range of software engineers. So specifically, this is targeted at software engineers. This is their target audience on this. Despite the uptick in interest around AI, I think a lot of companies find it challenging to understand how best to deploy these technologies. So a recent S&P Global survey revealed that nearly half of the IT leaders felt their organizations were not yet prepared to implement AI solutions. That is, very interesting considering the S&P is massive. These are big companies we're talking about here. So kind of citing a time frame of up to 5 years or more to fully integrate AI into their operations. That's what these IT leaders were saying that they're looking at. They're like, half of them aren't ready, and they're saying it's going to be 5 years before they're fully integrated. So for people that think like the AI boom is like, it's a big hype cycle and it's over, 50% of people say we're not ready. We need 5 years of these major corporations, which are going to lead a lot of growth. So I think we're going to see a lot of sustained growth over the next 5 years. We'll see some hyper growth for sure, 100%. So another 2022 survey by Gartner also got the same sentiment, although it had a sense of optimism. About 80% of the surveyed executives believed that automation could apply to any business decision, but identified model management as a significant hurdle. This survey, I think, is a little bit less relevant. It was back in 2022 before ChatGPT kind of catalyzed AI and is like the topic that every single company needed to be focusing on. So yeah, I would put a little bit less weight on that. In any case, addressing these challenges, LastMile AI offers a platform that allows the creation of AI-powered apps using both open and closed source models. So through its AI workbooks model, developers can experiment with different models within a unified interface. So additionally, the AI workflow tools allow for more intricate model combinations to kind of create complex applications. So the AI templates model adds another layer of functionality, enabling reusable development setups that can be shared within the LastMile community. So Quadri emphasized the broader vision for the platform, saying, quote, "Our goal with LastMile is to provide a single developer platform that encompasses the entire lifecycle of AI app development. Today, the AI developer journey is fragmented and requires stitching together a number of different tools and providers and nuanced understanding of every step, which increases the barrier to entry. We're focusing on building a platform that non-machine learning software engineers can use to develop AI-powered apps and workflows." So what I will say is, while LastMile is obviously providing a good solution, it's not without competition. There's a bunch of other companies in this space. I think even according to Quadri, companies like Llama Index, which offers a framework for leveraging large language models, and LangChain, which is an open source toolkit designed for creating language model-based apps, are also kind of fighting for, part of the market here. But I think despite all of that, Quadri is really optimistic about the prospect of New York City-based LastMile AI, which is still pre-revenue in a very fast-evolving space. So with markets forecasting there's estimates that the AI model operation sector is going to go to around $16 billion by 2030. LastMile AI's ambitious kind of plan to become a go-to platform for businesses looking to develop effortless integrations of AI into their operations, I think is potentially not very far-fetched. This is going to be a big market, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think they have a lot of space in here to play, so it's going to be interesting to watch AI and see how they grow and scale in the future.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.